Um, Mate, important win. Bruno stepping up at the very last minute. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Ooh, 3 points in the bag. I can now get on with my day as the weekend is here. But as much as we won, Terry, I see no future in the way that we're playing. I see no future in the players that we have on the pitch. So, yeah, we won, but it just delays the inevitable, in my opinion. It just papers over any cracks, and it just Man United are a glass jar. Man United are a glass jar with a massive crack in it, and you know what we're doing? We're putting a band-aid on it, saying everything's okay. We know that this flood is coming, but we're just trying to keep our head over water. So, yeah, if I had my way, I would literally, you see Palestri, I don't know if he's Man United level, but I'd rather start him than Anthony. You see Garnacho, just keep playing him. Just keep playing him. Play Hoyland. Mainu, Amrabat, 2 players that are new or young. Just play them. Play these players, and we'll just see where we end up at the end of the season. Because what more can we learn, Terry? What did we learn from today, really? We didn't learn anything. We didn't see anything new.
Yeah. Like, mate, I hear you, and I think, again, I know I'm not one of these people that's putting crazy pressure on Kobbie Mainoo, but I still think he should have come on today.
Yeah,
because he's got a calmness on the ball, and if you're going to throw Palestri, who's not as inexperienced as Kobbie, if you're playing Garnacho from the start, why not give him an opportunity on the ball? Because he's so much better in a deeper position. That already, in my opinion, he'll be better than Scott McTominay in that role. Mm-hmm. And you could have brought him on and moved Scott McTominay further up the pitch as an example. But what did strike me strange today, and I want to ask you this: 2 players that Reguilon he got because of injuries, right? But 2 of his main players in the summer that he wanted not starting the game. Is that a red flag for you?
Massive red flag. Massive red flag. Because why are they here? We might as well kept Fred, give him a new deal. You know, might as well give Hannibal more game time. Well, actually, it doesn't matter if they weren't here. He still probably wouldn't play. But it just makes no sense. I saw the line. I was like, wait, how are these 2, at least one of them, not playing? It's very worrying that you can build a squad and the new players you bring in to actually make the squad better in your eyes, you don't even play them. Now, if this was a situation where we're playing well, and you're not playing your new signings because you want to bed them in and you want to make sure that they acclimatize to the team and the league better, cool. But we're not in that position. We're not Man City and we're not Liverpool. We can't keep new signings out for 4 months and then bring them in and let them shine. We can't do that. We need instant impact. And if you are continuing to use players, granted, who you try to sell in the summer and they're starting over the guys you've bought in, it's very very worrying, and I think Ten Hag has lost the plot. Ten Hag has lost his mind. He's all over the place. How are you choosing to play McTominay deeper than Amrabat, who is seen to be playing well with Eriksen? How are you playing Evans and Maguire when you got Varane on the bench, our best defender in the entire club, on the bench? It's just not making any sense. And you can tell, listen, Terry, you can tell how the Man United fans feel. I'm the only one here and we won. This is how we feel right now.
Yeah.
It's not bringing us anything, man. It's very worrying.
I understand as well. And as I say, I can celebrate the win in isolation, but I'm going to talk about the performance, and I'm still confused by things the manager is doing. Even listening to him talk, last year he was very concise, very candid, very clear. Not always honest, but managers are never always going to be fully honest, and I don't want them to be. For instance, I hope he's disciplined Rashford, but I hope he doesn't tell us that, because I don't think we should be told, generally speaking. So I hope he's learned from the Sancho situation. That's just that if Rashford has been dropped for I don't know if it's for this party thing, because that news came out on the Monday, and he came on in midweek in the Carabao Cup, but maybe something's happened sort of since then. But I totally agree with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Mount, but I don't understand why the manager who spent £60 million on him is barely starting him in games. As an example, Varane starting on that bench is crazy in my personal opinion. He started Casemiro that already had a strain on his hamstring the other day, but now without him potentially up until January. Taking Højlund off as regularly as he does, again, is strange to me because I know we went on to win, but he looks our most potent threat. And we actually, when we made those the sub of Mount, we started to create some more opportunities and openings. And I just thought, and there's no dig at Martial, who, by the way, nearly scored an absolutely outrageous goal. I sort of look at it and think, well, why don't you work out a way of bringing on Martial, but put him next to Højlund? Give us two central figures that might help him, because Martial can create more so than what Højlund can. So, yeah, his decision-making, the way he's talking, everything feels off as far as I'm concerned. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we improve. I hope we become a better team. But at the same time, I can't just sit here and pretend I feel that way when I don't. And I know it infuriates some Man United fans that think, well, you shouldn't say these things, you shouldn't publicize them, you should just be happy. No, I'm not going to do that. Equally, I don't have an agenda. If we start winning games and improving, I'll say it, and I'll change my mind again about whether I think it should stay or not. I'm not polarized in any way, shape, or form.
One of those fans, man, those fans that say, oh, if you win, you have to be happy and celebrate and act like everything's all good. Bruv, no, because that lacks critical thinking. That lacks critical thinking. We have to be honest here. We've won games this season, yes, but all of them, I think, by one goal. I don't think we've beaten any opposition by 2 goals this season. And the goals that we're scoring are all scrappy last minute winners, some beautiful strike from somebody, individual brilliance. Now, you know me, I have no problem with individual brilliance. I love it, you know what I mean? But we don't have the foundation behind that to make that sustainable. And that's where my issue lies. And Bruno Fernandes today, as much as he scored the goal and it was great, before that point, I wanted to hook him off. He is getting worse and worse as the season goes on. And this isn't, again, trying to attack Bruno because it's Bruno Fernandes. He gets enough stick from people randomly as it is. You know what I'm saying? But today, it was the simple things that he was messing up. He couldn't do a through ball. He couldn't do a short pass. He did some great switch fields of play, which I know we can do. I've got no issue with that. But it's the simple things where I'm like, when we're in this kind of moment, as captain, we need you to be the calming influence. We need you to be the one that takes the game by the scruff of the neck and tells everyone, give me the ball. I'll hold on to it. You make your runs and I'll give it to you. But right now, he's in that hero mode that he had to came into the club with a couple of seasons ago, where it doesn't matter how we got there, we're just going to get there. But right now, we need something different. We need Bruno Fernandes to evolve as a player. And that's what I'm hoping for him, because I figure he's got the capabilities. He's mature enough now to realize that. So congrats on the goal. Very good goal. You see that Bruno that scored that goal? That's the Bruno I want playing for 90 minutes.
I agree. And look, I can stomach mistakes from him, but it's the way his shoulders have dropped. The reason why it never used to bother me when he stayed on when he was playing badly is because he was a match winner. And you typically, and this has been the same through all of football, match winners don't get taken off generally, even if they're playing poorly. If you need to win, if you need a goal to win a game, that typically it didn't matter how bad Frank Lampard performed. And by the way, he was a very consistent player, but it didn't matter if he was having a bad game. He would never be taken off if a goal was needed, because he scored so many goals. He scored so many winners. He was so influential in that way. And I think that's why Mo Salah, by the way, doesn't get taken off for Liverpool almost ever, especially if they need a goal. Because even if he's having a stinker, that man can still win you games. And it's a very finite quality for a player to have. But he definitely needs to improve so much more. And I'm not just going to paper over a poor performance because I'm not just going to paper over a poor performance because of a goal, but I'm going to congratulate the goal, and I'm not going to do it sarcastically or anything like that. Terry acting like Lee before Arsenal started balling, hypocrisy. Listen, everyone knows Lee's friend of the show. I don't think my behavior is anything like it. I'm giving an opinion that's changed. I'm not calling the manager any pejoratives. I've openly stated that I hope I'm wrong. I don't have an agenda. I don't dislike Ten Hag. If we were trying to instill the football that he is famed for, then I would say stick with him, but we're not. So like I said yesterday, Would I have the confidence in a bricklayer to build me a brick wall? Yes. Would I trust that bricklayer to do the electrics in my house? No. Doesn't matter that he's a builder. Where he works in the construction industry is a different skill set to what I need. The way we're trying to play football, I don't think this is one of his strengths. So that's different from saying I don't think he's good enough or ever will be. There is a fundamental difference between those situations as far as I am concerned. This from Olu says, Terry, do you think Man City losing all their first team backline and Rodri will do better or accumulate the same points so far? The United injuries are a major factor. They are. No one is denying that. I think it's a very good point. And I do believe if you took the three of the four main defenders out of any of the top teams, Spurs, Arsenal, City, and you took away their best DM, so Rice, Rodri, you took away Basuma for that amount of time as well, none of those teams right now would have as many points as they have now. I agree with that. I concur. However, they would still play the same football. They just maybe wouldn't have the quality in the positions they have to make it deliver the results that you want. But the identity would still be there. The play would still be there. We have got points where we can't string 3 or 4 passes together. There is no system. There's no consistency. They're not playing like a team. So when we play against, we actually had a lot of the ball today, but we were still so poor with it. In so many instances, what helped us is that Fulham were also poor with it. Mm-hmm. But when you're being outplayed by Burnley's, outplayed by Sheffield United's, outplayed at home by Copenhagen's, that's more than just your injuries. When City lost those games without Rodri, they were still the dominant force. They were still Man City. They just didn't score the goals and they conceded. We don't look. Rio Ferdinand says something before the game, and you're so right. If you blank the faces of the players out and just put them in grey kits, you'd have no idea it was Man United playing. You wouldn't be able to say, oh, is that a Man United team? Who is it? It just looks like bland.
Bottom half of the table.
Bottom half of the table football. So I do get this point, but I want to say this to you, Olu. I want to say this to you, my bro. And again, I hope I'm wrong. Everyone that thinks when we get the players back from injury, we're just going to click into gear and be brilliant. I've seen this said so many times by Man United fans in the past decade. Oh, when we get these 2-3 players back, we are golden. And it's never, ever worked like that. Equally, by the way, did we become I've been saying drop Rashford. Were we a better team without him today? No. So it's why I keep saying to people, you sell Rashford. The only part of getting rid of Rashford that would make sense is if you bring somebody in that's better than him. But my view is, well, bring somebody in better than him and have both. I don't see why you get rid of him. We're not playing badly because of Rashford or because of said individual. It's the overall team for me. It's the overall team for me.
It's a lot to be desired. I genuinely believe Ten Hag spoke to Murta when he first came in and agreed to the football that they wanted to play. And he thought he was good enough to do that, you know? And it's just simple. It's just not good enough, which is weird because you think a guy that can play possession plays football and he's been able to play such an attractive brand, surely it would be easy to convert to a more pragmatic counter-attacking style. Apparently it's not. Apparently close to specialties, and that's fine. He's just not good at this right now. And the player injury thing is, you can only take it so far. That can only last a few games before you just got to be like, right, these are the players that got available. You got to make them win, and you can't make them win consistently with the way that we're playing. And you know what the biggest thing is, Terry? Sorry, I know you want to speak, but the biggest thing is when we're building up from the back, we have our back four. Sometimes one of the fullbacks might invert. One midfielder, and then everyone else is just at the top. There's always a space in between the forward line and the back line where one midfielder, just a midfielder needs to go into, drift in there, come deep, and turn, and we can start going. The gap is too big. When we're building, the gap is too big. That's why it always looks like we're doing for the long ball. That's why we always look like we're out of ideas in possession, because we've got no links in the midfield to help us get up the pitch. And the one times that we did drive into the midfield, into the spaces and turned, we actually got to the goal quicker and smoother than by just lumping it to a wide man or forward. So this is what I mean. How can we realize this? And the guy who's smarter than us at football is not fixing that issue. It's
Yeah.
baffling.
No, I hear you on that. Josh here, one of our members, I hope you're well, Josh. He says, even with our club's turmoil, Ten Hag is the quickest manager to reach 50 wins in our history. I mean, again, things like that's amazing. And I applaud that. And like I said along, I hope he turns this round. I hope that I'm wrong. And I want him to be a success. There's a fundamental difference in that. I'm going to speak to Sunshine in a minute. We've got Safe who's going to come on and have his say in a moment as well. I love that kid. Maradon says, it's funny how Terry sees all the issues with Seven Hog now when it's been like this. So, but this is what you're, Maradon. I replied to a comment of yours yesterday on one of the videos that you spoke on where you said that I'm basically like a flip flop or a hypocrite because I've turned on the manager, and obviously I explained why, and I'll give you the same answer to this. The reason my mind has changed about the manager is based on what he said about the style of football that he's trying to implement. So of course my assessments are different because we have new factual information. It's like anything in life. You know, there might be a famous. I'll give you an example, an emotive one. The world came out and condemned Johnny Depp when the news first broke about the situation between him and Amber Heard. The man lost contracts, films, people condemned him. After the court case that was put out on TV and you saw and heard everything, I think about 90% of people went, oh, I got that wrong. Because factual information came out that changes your opinion. So for you, it's not hypocrisy when you change your mind based on new information. That's just called having a brain. It's hypocrisy if there is no new information and you are behaving in a way that you condemn others for. And I've never condemned anybody for changing their mind. So therefore, there is no hypocrisy going on here whatsoever. This is a good challenge here. It says, but you're being a hypocrite, Terry. When Liverpool had injuries, you said Klopp needs to change how they play and stop trying to play like he's got the first team. And now you're moaning about it. So again, it's not the same thing, but I hear where you're coming from. Firstly, I said that he shouldn't have been playing central midfielders in centre back roles. As soon as he went back, this was a few years back, as soon as he went back to playing the midfielders in midfield and defenders in defence, they became an exponentially better team. And equally, what I said last season is, it's not his style of play that has to change. It was two things. It was taking Trent Alexander-Arnold out of lots of right-sided defensive duties, and he's done that by inverting him and putting a covering player in that position. And I felt that he had to drop his higher line slightly deeper. That is not a fundamental change to his style of football in terms of what he is famed for doing. They are adjustments and adaptations within his system. So again, not the same thing. What I'm saying about Ten Hag, he isn't trying to play football, according to him, anywhere like he's famed for, because Man United have a DNA. And I don't know what that DNA is broken, bruv. Just some Jurassic Park shit. I don't know what's going to come out. Do you know what I mean? You think it's going to be a baby frog? It might be a T-Rex. Madness is going on. So I love the challenge. I do, but they're not the same things in my opinion. But thank you very much. Sunshine's here, bro.